Welcome back to the Lemon Factor. I'm Chad, and today we are going to do a 6-month review on the 2019 Honda Accord 2.0 Touring. So we've had the car, unbelievably, for 6 months now, a little less than 4,000 miles. One of the reasons why so few miles is our other project car, the 2019 Mazda Miata RF. We've had during the summertime, and quite frankly, we've been putting more miles on that vehicle. But now that we're entering into the fall and into the winter, we'll start working with the Accord a little bit more. So now that we're at the 6-month mark, I want to go over some of the feedback, and the feedback, both the good and the bad. You know, how do I feel about the car? Is the car still the right car for me, or do I feel like I've made a mistake in this purchase? Some of the things that I really like about the vehicle is, and this is in no particular order, is I really appreciate the steering wheel. And that may sound odd to start off with, but I think the comparison here and why this pops up is because the other vehicle we have is the Mazda Miata, and one of my biggest gripes about the Mazda Miata is the steering wheel, the thickness of the steering wheel is so thin that really annoys me. And when I move from driving the Miata into the Accord and I jump into the Accord, I love the feeling, the thickness of the Accord steering wheel. I think it's just right. It's not too thin. It has a nice 10-2 feel to it. It feels pretty sporty to me. So I appreciate the steering wheel itself and the thickness of that. Next is the gas mileage. So even though we've put on probably less than 4,000 miles, I have gone on a couple trips that were predominantly highway, and easily you can get 30 miles per gallon on the highway. There had been several occasions where I reached 32 and 33. That was strictly highway, that is going easy, that is no traffic. I think 32 is reasonable if it's strictly highway. I think 30 is really easy to get with this vehicle. And as a low, I routinely get I'd say 25 miles per gallon. So good gas mileage. And remember, it's not just the gas mileage. On this car, you can use 87 octane. So at least where I live, the difference between 87 and 93, which is what I put in the Mazda Miata, is 60 cents. So if you're filling up 10 gallons worth, I mean, that's $6. So it's not huge, but it is significant. It adds up. So it's nice to go to the gas station less frequently, and then when I do go, spend less money. The other thing is the torque. It is amazing. This turbo is nicely sized for this car, meaning it spools up very quickly. You don't notice any lag, and the torque is immediately available. So when you're just driving around town and when you need to jump out into traffic, merge onto a highway, that torque is nice to have. It gets the car going pretty quickly. So I appreciate the power and the torque and where it sits in the power band, the RPM band. So that's always nice to have. And of course, we like sporty cars here. Brake pedal feel. One thing I have noticed is the brake feel, the modulation, the linearity, and the amount of brake pressure applied versus how quickly you're braking. I like it. I like it a lot. One thing I've had several Toyota and Lexus vehicles, and they all seem to have a little bit of a spongy feel to it. Not necessarily that the braking distance is short, but it just doesn't have that right feel, that confidence-inspiring feel. And then the roominess. In the back of the car, you know, I have kids. I do use the Accord routinely to take family places, and the back seat is very roomy. I am amazed looking back there. The kids themselves have made comments how much room it offers, both, you know, the width, the room between their seats and the back of the front seats. And then, although my kids are small, just looking at the height, you know, having two adults back there, they definitely won't be cramped. So it's actually really nice to be able to use that car and have it be usable for adults as well. And then the trunk space. Speaking of space, you know, you have the back seat, but that trunk, you know, we've gone on a couple trips and it just seems to swallow up our bags, our suitcases. It is really deep. It is really usable. It's wide. It has a lot of usable space. And then the dash, just the looks. You know, for me, I don't like a lot of clutter when it comes to the dash. The gauges, I've always hated the amber, the red gauges. There was something about it. I like the cleaner, bluish hue, whitish hue. When it comes to your speedometer, I've never liked it when they have so many hash marks that it's hard to really look and see exactly what speed you're going. I like it when they separate that out and give you more space and it's not as many hash lines in it. And just overall with the Accord, it's just basic, simplistic in a good way. It's clean, easy to reach for things, know where they are. The touch, the tactile feel of the buttons here and the clicks, whether it's the turning of the knobs or the pressing of the heated seats, all extremely helpful. And speaking of heated seats, I didn't have this on the list, but my kids absolutely love the fact that there's heated seats in the back. They've always griped that everybody in the front gets them, but nobody in the back. So this is the first vehicle we've had that have heated seats in the back. They love it. They use it all the time, even when they probably shouldn't, when it's warmer out. And I like the fact that they automatically turn off and I don't have to worry about them leaving the heated seats on in the backs. But so I'll throw that out there if they enjoy that. Heads-up display. I've come accustomed to heads-up displays. This is no exception. I'm glad they offer it. I do like the fact that I don't have to take my eyes off of the road and can see key information right there sitting as a reflection on the windshield. So very helpful. And then walk-away locks. So I love the fact that I just get out of the car, walk away, and within whatever time or feet, you know, you can hear it locking behind you. One less thing that I guess as we get, I don't know, you can either say more efficient or more lazy. We don't have to take our key out of our pocket to unlock the car to get into it. We don't have to take the key out to put it in the ignition, you know, to start the car anymore. And now when you get out of the car, you don't have to do anything to lock your doors. You just walk away and they automatically lock. So I do like that. Yes, I'll call it a little lazy. I like that I don't have to worry about that anymore. Those were the big things that stood out for me that I do enjoy about the car. Some of the things that are not, I don't hate. This is not, you know, about the 5 or 10 or however many things about the Honda Accord that you hate. It is the things that could improve and things that, you know, maybe annoy me a little bit. The number one thing that annoys me is the brake mitigation system. I hate that, you know, I said it, I hate the fact, maybe my one hate, that it comes on what to me seems to be, it's too sensitive. It pops on when I'm approaching a car in front of me, I'm already braking or coming around a corner and it's always flashing in front of my face. And I'll say, I'm going to take two sides of this. I'm going to say, okay, that's great, but I think it's too sensitive and it's annoying me, and I guess the solution is I can turn it off, but I don't want to turn it off. I like the safety feature. The other side of me says, you know what, maybe it's me. Maybe I tailgate. Maybe I don't leave enough space between me and the car in front of me, and maybe that's telling me something. Maybe I should do my best to not have that pop on and change my driving behavior. And you know what, I'm trying to take that perspective to say, you know what, give more space to the car in front. Maybe the Accord is actually telling me that I need to improve upon my driving. So I can either take it as a positive or I can take it as a negative and say, screw it with the car. There's something wrong with the programming of the brake mitigation system. It's too sensitive. It pops on too quickly. And maybe it does a little bit, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's me. But that does annoy me because it pops on quite frequently. The other thing is road noise. Yes, the Honda Accord is smooth to drive, but there is more road noise than I would like. And I will be upfront with you that I've had two Lexus vehicles that are pretty darn quiet, and I've appreciated that. I've had cars that are louder, like the Mazda Miata. I mean, that you don't even judge the noise because it's just a noisy car, both mechanically speaking, and then because it's convertible, you have the wind noise. However, I think just the market that the Accord plays in, meaning competing with the Toyota Camry, the Subaru Legacy, the Kia and Hyundai, Sonatas, and Optimas, etc., they could do a better job in the sound insulation, I think. The road noise at times becomes extremely annoying. The stereo, I complained about the stereo, and I can't tell if the stereo has improved, as in the speakers themselves have broken themselves in, or if my expectations, my ear has just dealt with it and it's not as much of an issue. But when I first got the car, I hated the stereo. It was a big disappointment. However, I came from vehicles that had pretty high end, not aftermarket, but high end for OEM, car manufacturers. And the Honda Accord's stereo, and again, this is an upgraded stereo. This is on the 2.0 Touring, was a huge disappointment. It doesn't have the highs, it doesn't have the lows, the bass, and without that, it just seems like it's in a very narrow band of frequency response. But like I said, it seems like it's either gotten better or I've come to accept it. So it's something that I think for you, check out the stereo. That could be an easy fix, or it's not a big deal for you. The brake mitigation, check it out. The road noise could be an issue. Drive it without, someone in the car. Don't turn on the stereo. Just, hear the hum or the road noise, driving on the highway, on city, suburban streets, and see if that's a big deal to you. To me, this is a phenomenal car. I am really, really happy with this car. I think to make it perfect, or that next iteration, here's my recommendation for Honda. I really think if they were to keep almost everything else the same, they should do something about the road noise and try to improve that a little bit. That would drastically improve the vehicle. Now, if they want to go a step further, for someone that is in a demographic where I like cars, but I have a family, I need the space, but I want a little bit of performance, follow me, I do think an LSD, a limited slip differential, would really benefit this car because of the torque it has. That torque steer is there, and it makes some people nervous. I think an LSD as even an option would be helpful. And then if they wanted to go even further, and I know this probably won't happen, but we're wishful thinking here, if Honda wanted to make this all-wheel drive, just think about this. A Honda Accord 2.0 Touring, that is a Type R version. And for those of you who are not familiar with Type R, that is Honda's designation for their sporty race cars. There's certain vehicles, like back in the 90s, they had Acura Integra Type R. These are the higher end sports cars. If they wanted to make a Type R version of the Accord, I think that would be great. At least put a limited slip differential in it. Maybe put the Civic Type R's turbo in there. It would be awesome if they made it all-wheel drive, so you have the winter. But even if they didn't do all of that, I think the people who look to buy a different vehicle other than the Honda, especially nowadays, people are all about their all-wheel drive. It makes them feel more secure, safer. That's arguable. Maybe we'll have a different video for that someday. But if the Honda Accord came with all-wheel drive, I think that would sell a lot more. I think that would be helpful. Of course, it would add cost to it, but I think it would make it more competitive. And if people were trying to compare that to the Camry, hey, the Camry doesn't have all-wheel drive. So make it a little bit quieter, add all-wheel drive, and you know what? You got yourself a grand slam. And I say a grand slam because right now I think it's a home run for this car. It's a great car. If you're wondering if I've had any issues, knock on wood, I've not had any issues with the vehicle. Nothing that I've had to bring it into the dealer. I don't have any, and I feel nervous about saying this, so I'll knock on wood again. No rattles, no squeaks. It's been pretty tight, pretty solid. Really happy with it, and there you go. So if you found this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, share, comment. Let me know your experience with your 2018, 2019, and I believe they're already coming out, the 2020 Honda Accord. So the 10th generation Honda Accord, tell me what your experience is. Couple things with the Lemon Factor. We have two project cars, both this 2019 Honda Accord. So one of the next videos coming up here is I'm going to be installing the trunk lid spoiler, the OEM trunk lid spoiler. So I'll show you how to do that. We'll be modifying the car, hopefully, in a tasteful way, but I want to go through what options are out there for modifications and a little bit of a how-to for the car itself. I'm looking to actually dyno the Honda Accord. Hopefully in a month. I've reached out to several places, and a lot of them are busy with SEMA coming up. So as soon as they have some availability, I'm going to go have the car dynoed. We go through car-related products, whether it's car care products, car maintenance products, things like that. We'll give you reviews and how-tos on that. And then every once in a while, we'll do a car review. If you have any interest in one, some, or all of that, please subscribe. Thank you for joining, and we look forward to speaking with you again.